Okay, so let's learn how to do the kettlebell swing, the powerhouse of kettlebell movements that will accelerate your journey. We're going to go step by step, following along. First thing we're going to do is start with the position of how we learn deadlift. Deadlift is the biggest carryover to your swing. So that's the first thing we're going to learn. We stand with the kettlebell in between our feet so that the handle is in line with our ankles. That's the first thing. Now lift your arms so they're straight in front of you, and then bring your arms down straight and look outside. Your feet should be outside of your hands. If they're not, you need to take them slightly wider. That just means that you've got the right position for your deadlift. And then what we're going to do is set up so that we know the handle's in the right position and that we're not going to load into our back incorrectly. So we take our hands, we go down into our hinge where we feel the crease here and push the butt back. So you'll feel your hands being crushed by your hinge. And then you're going to touch the kettlebell handle with your thumbs and see if you can touch your shins with your little fingers. If you can, you know that you've got the position lined up. This is just to make sure you're deep enough in your hinge. So I'll show you from this position. I hinge, butt back, not squat. I touch the handle with my thumbs and see if I can touch my shins. If it was here and I couldn't, I'm going to more likely be loading forward. So I want the weight back in the heels, lats engaged. Thumb touching handle, shins in line with handle. Okay, now let's just learn about the hinge. The hinge is not a squat. We are not sitting down into a squat. We are driving our butt back, okay? So from both angles. This is a squat, my butt's lower than my hips, and this is a hinge, my butt is higher than my knees. So when you squat, you take your butt lower. When you hinge, you take your butt back, okay? So really important to learn. Every time you set up for a deadlift or a swing, you are hinging. You can see my back is straight. I'm hinging. Okay, lovely. So next stage of the swing, of the deadlift, is that we need to set up with our breath. Our breath is really important. We're going to do what's called a little sniff so that we connect our breath to our movement pattern. So we're going to start with our setup. This is called the A position, okay? We're in a letter A here. So I'm showing you from two angles. Setup, so arms, yeah, I can see my feet. Hinge, push back. Thumbs touch handle, little fingers touch shins. Yes, I'm in this position. Now, next thing I'm going to do is a little sniff and stand back down. As I stand, I'm going to push the feet through the floor. I'm going to switch my glutes on, my core's on, my quads are on. All of that happens at the same time. Show you from this angle. So I start A position. So hinge, thumbs on the handle, little fingers touching the shins. Sniff, push down. Sniff, push down. Push the earth away with your feet. Every time you stand, push the earth away with your feet. So, sniff, sniff. Every time you stand, push the feet into the floor, squeeze your glutes, shoulders back, core engaged, quads engaged. Okay. Next thing we have to learn is the anti-shrug. This is how you're going to engage your lats. So what we're doing is we're trying to connect to the load on the floor. The sniff that we initiate in the beginning is the initiation of breath translating to this movement. And then the push of the earth down with our feet is the little exhale. Then we also have to do what's called an anti-shrug. So as we go down into this position, I want to show you what I'm doing. I'm pulling my shoulders away from my ears, anti-shrug. Why? Because I'm connecting here through my lats. I'm strong. I want to feel this part of my body really switched on to assist with my back being in a safe position to lift this load. Okay? So now we're going to do it with the weight, lifting the weight. Set up, A position, hands, look outside. Yes, feet are there, outside. Hands here, drive your butt back into your hinge. Touch the kettlebell handle with the thumbs either side and touch the shins. Anti-shrug, pull the shoulders away from the ears. Now we're going to hold the kettlebell handle, we're going to sniff, and we're going to stand with our mini exhale, pushing the earth away. Check. Has it gone back in the same place? Thumbs on the handle, little fingers on shins. Lats engaged. Sniff. Now, every time you stand, I want you to hold it for 2 seconds. Check your position. Thumbs on the handle. Is the little fingers touching the shins? Are my anti-shrug lats engaged? Here. Ready? Sniff. Hold for 2 seconds. Back down to where it started. Sniff. Hold for 2 seconds. Push the earth away with the feet. Drive into that lat engagement. Core switched on, glutes switched on, quads switched on. Sniff. Power those feet through the floor every time you stand. 2 more. Sniff. Push the feet through the floor. Legs should feel like they're fully engaged at that point. Hold for 2 seconds at the top. 1 more. Sniff and up. Okay. So you're building the ballistics of the kettlebell swing there, because a deadlift translates directly over to the kettlebell swing. Instead of us coming up and down, the bell just comes in front, but it's exactly the same movement pattern. So we need to get that power drive, that ballistic drive, where when we stand, we're really pushing the floor away with our feet. I'm feeling super strong at the top in this upright plank position that you hold for 2 seconds in your upright plank. Really, really, really important. Okay, next part of this. So that's your deadlift, and that is your power deadlifts. And if ever you're struggling with the swings, go back to doing those deadlifts. If you're feeling like you're losing your control and your form, go back to those deadlifts and repeat deadlifts until you get on point with them again. So let's talk about starting to learn the swing. So there are lots of triangles in our body when we do the swing. We've got one triangle here, we've got one triangle here. The most important triangle is this one, across the knees and up here. The triangle directly from our knees up to our groin. That's because when we swing, the kettlebell wants to go directly through that triangle. It does not want to come lower than the base of the triangle, which runs across the knees. So what we're going to do is always try and keep the kettlebell in there. So I'll show you from the side. As it comes down, it goes straight in between at the top of the triangle and then up. Straight in between the top of the triangle and then up. So we're pushing into the triangle. So what we're going to do is just start with the bell on the floor here. We're not going to hike it yet. We're just going to keep it here. And we're going to do some little drives into the triangle and finish where we started. So this is a good little drill. Just learning to keep that bell in the top so you keep your lat engagement. So start with it here. We're not doing the hike yet. You're just going to swing it back and get into the triangle. You saw, we still did that drive. We stood in our upright plank at the top. We pushed the ground away with our feet. And we're doing our triangle top, keeping the kettlebell just at shoulder height. And as it goes down, it comes straight between the legs as high as you can. If it goes too low, watch what happens. You're going to lose that lat engagement. So we don't want to drop it there. We want it to come directly through the top. Okay, so now we learn the hike. So if you're happy with that stage, you move on. If not, just keep doing those stages, okay? So the hike. We're going to hike it and park it. We're not going to go into swings yet. So you don't want the bell too far forward because you're just going to be taxing your body too much and it's not going to be good for your back. So you bring the bell forward enough so that when you rock forward and back, you feel that if you tip the bell, you really feel the anti-shrug, that your whole back switches on here. So you saw what I did then. I pulled the shoulders away from the ears, did the anti-shrug. I'm going to keep in this hike. I'm just going to put it there and put it back. See what I'm doing? I'm dragging it through. I'm keeping these lats on. How? Anti-shrug. So driving all of the force into the back of my body, driving the shoulders away from the ears, hike back and park. Staying in my hinge, I'm not coming up. Okay, so once you've got that down, and they should feel hard, you're loading back all the time, it's hard to stay in that deep hinge. We're going to just do a power swing where we're going to put everything together. So we're going to start in our hike, we're going to pack our lats, so we'll be here, pulling the shoulders away, holding the kettlebell, then we're going to hike the bell through the top of the triangle, then we're going to come up to our upright plank and hold for 2 seconds in the float. Remember when we did our deadlift, we held the top part for 2 seconds. And then we're not going to initiate the break of the hips too early. The bell is going to drop on its own accord because gravity will make it weight, will make the weight initiate our hip drive back, and then we're going to drive back and park the bell. So again, hike, lats engaged, anti-shrug. Drive the bell underneath us into our hike swing. Stand up into your upright plank. Push the ground away with your feet. Squeeze your butt. Push the floor away. Pull the lats back and hold for 2 seconds. Back to your hike and down. And again, up, 1, 2, down. That's how we come. Here. We don't want to rock back. As soon as you stand, if you push the ground away with your feet, it will stop you rocking back. Okay, so we are going to sit in our hike, not too far away from you, anti-shrug. Ready? 1 swing. And again, little sniff. And again, little sniff. And again. You can see how I'm letting it float at the top. 1 more. Sniff. Okay. So, when you've put all that together, that's hard work. We're just going to start doing our swings. 5 sets of swings. I'll do them from the front and I'll do them from the side. Okay, so I'll do them from this side to start. So don't forget all of the pieces put together. So hinge, drive the butt back, anti-shrug, shoulders away from the ears, tip the bell. If it's too far away, bring it a little bit more so you're not falling back and you're not loading forward. You can feel the weight somewhere between forward and back. Anti-shrug, coming through the top of the triangle. As soon as I come to my plank, let's go. Sniff and park. Finish how you start. And again, this side. Okay, shake it out a bit. Hike, drive the butt back into your hinge. Hold the bell, anti-shrug, switch my lats on, drive the weight into the back of my body, keeping in triangle, coming to the float, let's go. Sniff, finish how you start. Okay, so I hope that helps. Keep drilling these things over and over and over. If you pack a powerful swing, it will elevate your kettlebell journey to great, great heights. So good luck.